Hello. I've been asked over time in the classes I've done or the things that I've talked about in other places, if I couldn't record a little bit because there's some things that people would like to maybe be able to hear and be able to do over. So I'm going to begin a series of classes specifically on grieving and forgiving and the process that it takes. So today is the first attempt on that. You can give me some feedback about what you think. But to begin with, though, I want to start with something out of the Old Testament that I think has a lot of relevance as we get ready to talk about this. This actually comes from Jeremiah 29. The setting is just as Babylon has come in under Nebuchadnezzar and captured the people of Jerusalem, and they have hauled the cream of Jerusalem, of society, off to Babylon. And he didn't just take anybody, he's taking the best, the brightest, the artisans, the princes, the princesses, the Daniels, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, those guys. So he's taking kind of the best and brightest. Now, as they get up to Babylon, these young people, these smart, great people from Jerusalem are saying, wait a minute, we're here, we didn't choose to be here, we're here because our parents, our leaders weren't righteous. The Lord said that he would capture us, they didn't do it, they failed. We're here because of their actions. We didn't choose to be here. We are dragged away from our homes, and it wasn't our fault. And so you get this sense of unfairness that begins to boil up in these young people in Babylon. And their response to that is a proverb that we have recorded in the book of Ezekiel. The proverb says very simply, our fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are on edge. Now, here in Texas, I've often said that if we were going to say this in Texas, it would be the fathers have eaten jalapenos, and the children's teeth, the children's mouth is burning. They have done things and it wasn't our fault, but we're the recipient of this unfairness. So we're now stuck in captivity. And I think that's a pretty good analogy for how often in our lives we are stuck somewhere in our own captivity of pain or of hurt. And it wasn't due to our efforts, it was due to the unfairness and the actions of other people that hurt us. And it might be somebody else's lies, or they're hurting us, or drunk drivers, or whatever that is, things that are out of our control. We tried to do the best that we knew how to do. Somebody else's unfairness has hurt us. And the Lord is going to respond to that in speaking through Jeremiah, who was the prophet that was left in town in Jerusalem when everybody else was dragged off. This unfairness possibility, and what he's going to say to them in Jeremiah 29 starts with verse 4 and says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, God of Israel, unto all those who are carried away captives. And that could be all of us who are carried away captive. It wasn't something that we chose, but somebody else's actions have put us in a place of captivity. And he says, unto all those that I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. And then here comes the Lord's great counsel to us. Build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, eat the fruit of them. Take wives, beget sons and daughters, on and on. Live your lives. And then he says in verse 7, seek the peace of the city wherewith I have caused you to be carried away captives. For in the peace thereof you shall have peace. Find the peace in the city of your captivity. Well, there's the problem. That's the one that we struggle with the most, is the fact that through somebody else's unfairness, we're in a city of captivity and we can't find peace. The idea of finding peace through properly grieving and then being able to properly forgive is finding the peace of the city where we are. And it seems to be so elusive. What we're going to try to do, I think, is to begin to say, let's begin to set the table, and we'll do this through a series of recordings about how it is that we do that. How do we find the peace when peace seems to be so away from us, and despite everything else that we've done, we can't find peace? Well, if we keep in mind that the idea of we have found forgiveness when we have found peace, and if we're not yet at peace, we haven't yet forgiven. And generally what we're going to find is that we haven't forgiven because we're still grieving. And it's a very simple process, but a very painful, critical process in what we do. And look forward to kind of starting then in our journey of how we heal from unfairness.